We are joined by Dale Earnhardt Jr., driver of the number 88 Exalta Chevrolet. Dale, you've had some success here at Michigan, and you're here with the Junior Nation Appreciation Tour. What does it mean to bring that here to a track where you've had a couple of wins?
It's been fun all year, trying to find creative ways to show the fans, I guess, how much they mean to us and to the sport and to the career. Certainly, it's important to me, and I think important for our team back home that put this together, that the fans get to understand and enjoy this. I wish I could run better on the track, and I know that would make things a lot easier to enjoy. And we still got a few races, and hopefully something can get going. We got to find some speed, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate all the tracks working with us and helping us promote this. Hammerhead and our media arm at Dirty Mo Radio and all that for all the content that we've been able to put together and sort of share with the fans, a little bit about each track and what each track means to us. So it's been pretty interesting, and hopefully, hopefully the fans are enjoying that.
All right, we'll open up to questions here for Dale. Please raise your hand. We'll start here with Claire, and then we'll go over to the side.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Can you explain why you think Kevin Harvick would say what he said about you on his radio show? And are you now getting the idea via what you're hearing that potentially there was some flack over your comments about driver salaries? And do you think that was misunderstood?
My
your
comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's easy to take it anyway, a number of ways. It could have been taken differently. I think it definitely probably upset some of the veteran guys, but I said on my podcast that if you got a healthy program with great corporate sponsorship and great manufacturing support, then you should be able to, control your worth and be able to get the kind of deal you want. Just the environment for some of these teams has become a lot more challenging over the last couple of years. But I think that's kind of, that might be where some of his frustration comes from, and why he decided to make the comments he made. I'm not real sure. I can't speak for Kevin.
We'll go to Wolfgang and then to Bob.
Dale, hopefully not a private question for you. Already in Germany 2 years ago, maybe we will see you more often over there. And when you were traveling, can you pick up already some German words when you were in Germany?
So, well, the last time I was over there, I was suffering from a lot of symptoms from my concussion and didn't really know it. Didn't know what was going on. But so the last trip I didn't enjoy too much. But I think it'd give me and Amy the opportunity to do a lot of things next year. Obviously, I think everybody's been asking me, like, you're going to have all this free time. I don't think I'm going to have that much, to be honest with you. And I think some of you guys know, this the opportunity that I have next year to work with NBC is going to take a lot of preparation. And I'm definitely going to push real hard to make sure that I'm doing everything I can do to be prepared and understand. I'm more confident in doing anything when I feel like I have done everything I can to prepare for that. And so for me to go in there and feel like I can do the job I want to do and do it well, I need to really over prepare and work hard and feel like I haven't left anything on the table. So I think that I guess what I'm trying to say is it'll be pretty busy, I think, in that first 6 months, sort of getting up to speed and taking every opportunity I can to learn the process and learn what I can to be prepared for that job. So it'll be interesting, and I'm excited to apply myself. And so I don't know that this first year out of the car is going to be that much more relaxed than really what I've been doing all year this season and over the last 20 years.
We'll go to Bob and then stay in the center.
Bob. Hawkers, ESPN. Yesterday, Chevrolet unveiled kind of a celebration of manufacturer identity in the sport. Day before, talking about composite bodies in the Xfinity Series, NASCAR says they'll still look the same as they have in the past, but is there a balance there between, manufacturer identity and kind of making everybody buy something from a vendor?
Say that again.
Well, what I'm asking is that you guys are all buying all your bodies in Xfinity from someone else, and yet you're also talking about like, okay, we're racing these cars with manufacturer support, and hooray manufacturer. And I'm curious if there's is there a balance that needs to be made, or is there any talking about the correlation between cars that all look the same or cars that all get worked on in one place versus manufacturer identity?
Well, all right. I really have a hard time kind of understanding what you're asking me, but when the cars are easy to identify, that's a great thing. If you look at the cars and struggle to sort of tell one from the other, it's not good. And our company, our team, whether it's Xfinity or Cup, the manufacturer support we get, I mean, that affects our ability to compete. It affects it a lot. They help us in a lot of different areas outside of a check or just the being part of the brand. I mean, there's a lot of different things that they do for the teams. But I think that over the last couple of years that things have gotten better in terms of brand identity and recognizing one from another. And there for a while, all the cars did look the same, and they kind of were the same. The COT, I mean, you couldn't tell one from the other who was driving what. But it's gotten better, Then NASCAR has to, control who, NASCAR has to have a level playing field as far as aero, but at the same time, you want the cars to look different. But when you really get too different from each other, the aero changes quite a bit. So you got to be careful. And also, they want all the cars to fit under a similar, similar inspection, with the grid and so forth. So there's some things in areas on the cars that will have to remain similar, but they're going in a good direction, I think, as far as allowing the cars to have a little brand identity on the front and different things on the side and so forth. So it's gotten better than it used to be. I mean, it's not 1970, but it's getting better.
We'll go here to the middle and then to Chris.
Dale, Jay Sarkar, CBS Lansing. Looking over some old clips, you've made a lot of memories here at MIS. You and your dad finishing 1-2 in the IROC way back when, winning in 2012. Regardless of how this weekend goes, what are your lasting memories of Michigan International Speedway and everything here in Brooklyn?
Obviously coming here and getting the win with Tony Jr., that was great. Winning here against, I raced Jeff Gordon one day in the Xfinity Series, I think it was 99. He was in his Pepsi car. And so I ran, we kind of swapped the lead all day. So it was only 100 laps or whatever, but we seemed like, we kind of were racing, only me and him were, racing each other for the win the whole race. So I was very proud of that because I thought he was the best in the sport at the time. So it's like, beating Jimmy Johnson if he came down in the Xfinity Series, or Kyle Busch. That was a big deal for us. Coming here to run one of my first Xfinity races in '97, we drove up here with a dually and a gooseneck and ran in the top 10. Couldn't believe it, bumped Dale Jarrett out of the way off of turn 2 for 8th or something like that. Me and Dale Jarrett still talk about that today. and went in with Steve a couple years ago. So it's been just dominated that day in the Batman car. So I mean, I got some really, really good memories here. It's been a fun track, and man, I wish, I miss the track being as wide as it used to be, how we could run multiple grooves and, sometimes even up against the wall at some of the events. It'll get there. It's still really nice, as far as the pavement and asphalt's not aging. It's definitely, the color has changed a little bit, but it's definitely not widening out as much as I'd hoped before I hung it up. But it's going to just get better and better and better. This place is great. This is sort of, to me, a lot of folks, there's been some conversation about the 1.5 miles and the word cookie cutter and all that. That's been a conversation for a couple decades now. But this place here is, to me, the standard for a 1.5 mile, 2 mile racetrack. This place is just so much fun to race on for a driver, and I think they did an amazing job when they built it. And it's a great racetrack.
We'll go to Chris and then come over here to the left.
ChrisKnight@CatchFence.com. Dale, I know this is an ongoing topic and whatnot, but based on what happened Tuesday and based upon the comments yesterday, your fans have been adamant that Harvick owes you an apology. And I just want to know from you, do you feel like that Kevin Harvick owes you an apology?
I don't know. I mean, I'd appreciate a conversation, if we can have a conversation about it. I know Kevin and I've known him for a long time, and I feel like that it'd be great to sit down and just discuss what he said, what he meant, and we can even talk about my conversation from the Glen that he didn't like, and let's just sort of find some kind of common ground. That would be great, because, like I said, I think a lot of the guy, and there's no denying what he did for our company over those few years. I mean, we were in a good place, but he put us to another level. When he came in there, his understanding of how to run a team, and he changed how everyone in the company thought. All the guys downstairs, as far as how to get cars better. And so he brought a really great mentality to the company that's still there today. And we've enjoyed we enjoyed a lot of wins together, and so I certainly would like to clear it up, but just probably between ourselves.
Come over here.
Yeah, Dale, Mike Brudenell from Auto Week. Firstly, thank you as an old guy here. It's been around MIS for your performances and availability to us here. Secondly, you said that you felt you exceeded a lot of your expectations as a driver. Can you explain, talk to that? Yeah.
I mean, I watched, I've watched a lot of guys come in behind their dads and struggle. There's a lot of guys that came in behind their dads and made it, but there's a lot of guys that didn't. And, my dad put up some pretty steep numbers, and so I knew that was going to be a challenge, trying to feel any kind of self-worth and be, doing well enough, to satisfy people, So, and I hated working for a living. I didn't want to work for a living. So I was hoping that, the way I thought, this is silly, but the way I thought in '97 was, man, if I could get into an Xfinity car and I could win just one race, what do I need to do just to keep, just to say, I think that's enough to keep me around. And so when I won my first few races in the Xfinity Series, I thought, well, all right, I'll be able to keep a job in this sport for a while because of this little bit of success I've had. I didn't come here to be the most popular guy. I didn't come in here thinking that I was going to win 7 championships. I just wanted to be able to do it. You know, I didn't want to flame out in 2 years and be gone and have to, you know, have to work, honestly. So, you know, I just wanted to be able to make a living doing it. And it's turned out to be much, much more than that for me. And so every time I win a race, it's a surprise to me. And, you know, anytime we did anything really big, like when the Xfinity Series championships or the Daytona 500s, it was just, even to this day, it's hard for me to believe that it happened to me. So that's what I mean when I exceeded my own expectations, because they were pretty low. You know, I don't know why, but you know, I was a screw off when I was a teenager. I wasn't, you know, I was late to work every day, and I didn't put in the effort, and you know, I just didn't have my head on straight. So I shouldn't have amounted to much, but and I wouldn't have if I hadn't got the opportunities that I got with my father, and luckily enough, I had great people around me on the Xfinity deal that carried any of my own personal limitations, and you know, until I finally figured it out late in my career what I really was supposed to be doing this whole time, as far as my job and being an asset and being accountable and applying yourself. And you know, it took a while, but that's some of us are late bloomers. I certainly I didn't think I'd win another race after 2010, 2011. I thought that was it. I thought I was gonna squirm around in the back till everybody just had enough of me. But somehow or another, we got back to victory lane a few more times, so that was pretty cool.
We'll stay down here on the left and then go back to the middle.
Taylor DeSormo from MLive.com. Somebody mentioned the 99 IROC race. What are your memories from that day with the close finish with your dad?
Oh, man. I've watched that a lot. There's a YouTube clip of about the last 5 laps. And I watch it all, you know, just thinking, man, how in the hell did I lose? But so there's a lot that happened that day. Me and Dad run nose to nose, first and second, that whole race. He's motioning to me the whole time to stay right with him, stay in line, not try to pass him. You could pull out and get beside the guy in front of you pretty easily, but it was hard to pass on the bottom. And so he was just like, don't pull out, don't pull out. And I got all these guys dogging me and trying to pass. And so on the last lap, I got a run, and I went down into turn 1, got under him, and it didn't work, and I thought I was screwed. Somebody got him behind me and pushed me down the back straightaway real good, and we went into turn 3, and Dad drove to the bottom. So I just went around a little bit higher, and it stuck, and I got out on his outside coming off of turn 4, and I was going by, and he hit me. He drove, you know, he was trying to side draft me, but he also hit me. And that momentum that I had going forward just stopped. And his side draft started to work. He started kind of creeping forward. And then Rusty was behind us. And Rusty went behind Dad for a second, which pushed Dad a little farther. And then right at the last second, Rusty went low. But that was all he needed to get back by me. And 50 lap, I think it's 50 laps, 20 laps. What was it, 50 miles, 20 laps or something? I don't remember what it was. Very short. I got out of that car and had never been more tired in my life. I got out and went to Victory Lane and then just about passed out. I went to the infield care center and got 2 bags of IV. Never felt worse after a race for whatever reason. I must have held my breath the whole time or something. I don't know what it was, but I was miserable after I come down from the adrenaline that was pumping, and I went in there to Victory Lane like hoping that Dad would, you know, Tony Sr. and all the guys are in the Xfinity garage, and when I saw them, Tony Sr., and they were like, man, you about had him, that was so awesome. And I wanted Dad to say that, and I went in Victory Lane, and he would not even acknowledge that I almost beat him. He was like, yeah, look at me, my trophy. How about that? You know, how about that, Dale Jr.? And I was like, All right. So, and on top of that, I've always sort of been ticked at Rusty for that whole thing because him and Dad, they kind of always were one-upping each other. One buy a plane, the other had to have the same plane. This guy buys a farm, this guy's got to buy a farm. And they did that their whole career, throwing water bottles back and forth, and then they'd be pals, and then they'd be fighting. And he had his one shot to really rub it in Dad's face and push me to victory lane. He could have, hung that over Dad's head for so long, and he kind of helped Dad, to be honest with you, with the way the arrow works. I was so mad he didn't push me, but if he had, I'd have won. I didn't eat much, but that to me, I didn't. It was funny because I got to race Dad in the IROC series a little bit, and then I got to race him in the Cup Series some, but really we didn't race around each other at all. I don't have many memories of racing with him much on the racetrack. I remember passing him for the win at Richmond. I remember passing him for position late in the race for the All-Star win, but really there's not a lot of us racing together, and that we ran together that whole day. That was fun, and to battle him once was pretty awesome.
We'll stay here in the middle, and then we'll go back to Jay.
Mike Massey with FrontStretch.com. So you've kind of turned into the driver developer as of late with Truex, Almirola, Keselowski, and now Bowman and Byron. First off, how does that make you feel to just look and see so many guys that made it to Cup that came through your teams?
Yeah.
And then what is it you look for when you're talking to like a 14, 15-year-old kid about letting them drive your late model?
Yeah, I can't take any credit for any of that. Honestly, a lot of those guys that have came through junior motorsports I was tipped off by somebody. As far as Martin Truex Jr., it was Richie Gilmore, I believe, that told me about him. But it's been, somebody gets in your ear and says, this is the guy here, somebody you need to look at. And because of our popularity and our ability to attract a lot of corporate sponsorship, we were allowed to, create junior motorsports and give these guys opportunities in late models and Xfinity teams and stuff like that. That's why we have this whole Junior Nation appreciation. The fans support us. Corporate America wants to be a part of that. That presents opportunities for us to do things that gives opportunities to others. So I can't take really any credit for actually like being this, this eagle eye, like, oh yeah, there's this guy over here, or just watch him. I can tell you there's a lot of, that Tyler, what's his name? Yeah, Najeski. I'd love to put him in a car. I've been kind of watching him. I've never seen him drive, but I know he wins every damn time he gets out on the track. He's just sitting on Twitter today complaining about a 4-race losing streak. Yeah, Ty. Yeah, I'm assuming his name's Tyler, right? Ty. Huh? Ty. You don't think his real name's Tyler? Tyrone. Well, yeah, of course. I don't think that I can take credit for seeing those guys. They get sort of brought to you, or somebody points them out. It's just circumstances. So, but I love having the opportunity to help people. And Junior Motorsports has been able to do that. If we get lined up with the right people in the right situation, I think our program is able to help a lot of people.
And we'll wrap up here with Jay before we have a special presentation.
Dale, we heard from Kirk Cousins and Ryan Kerrigan about your guys' little run out in Richmond on Tuesday, but I wanted to hear your perspective from it. What was it like getting to go with, the quarterback and some of the best players of your favorite football team?
The dream come true for a fan, like, any fan, like myself, to go out and, just kind of throw the football around a little bit. I thought they were just going to throw one pass and be like, all right, see you, we're out here. But he was like, no, come on, let's do it some more. Let's do it. So I think we had 3 passes. So it was a lot of fun. And they were really, I know that, so they're in the middle of their training camp. For them to come over to the track, like just a few hours before they actually have to get in pads and get going, I know that they could have easily turned that down and had good reason to. So I thought that was really cool of those guys to come out there and give their time to. I know they were excited about being able to go around the track and all that, but I thought still it was nice of them to come over there and get involved in all that and help us kind of do what we're trying to accomplish for the racetrack. I thought that was probably the most fun winter circle that I've ever done. I don't think we can call them winter circles anymore, like a victory tour or something. I don't know what they call them anymore, but forever they were winter circle. It was a winter circle program. So I told the track, Richmond, if they didn't mind having a retired driver, I'd do it again next year. So anything to go back to Redskins training camp. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, and they had a terrible game last night. The preseason game was awful, but you don't care. You know, you're a fan, and just to be around those guys was incredible. I was really in awe. To watch them sort of after practice, you know, work with the kids around there and handing out snow cones and all that stuff. It's really a great experience. So enjoyed that. There's a lot. They talk about. And sorry, I'm kind of getting long, but here, when they talk about drafting guys with character, you know, you don't really know what that means till you get around these guys on those teams, and you really see what kind of quality people these guys are. I mean, they're great at football, but they're also really, really quality individuals. So that's real neat to see.
How did you do running out to the catch?
How did I do? Yeah. Well, I caught the first two. The third one was a little overthrown, but I think that was my fault for being slow, not Kurt's fault for overthrowing me. But it was so much fun. Me and Norman, while we're running, you know, before Kurt's even throwing the ball, we're giggling as we're jogging down the field, just laughing. It's so funny.
All right, Dale, well, before we let you go to qualifying, we're going to bring up Rick Brenner, the track president here at Michigan International Speedway, for a special presentation.
Thank you. I guess those of us that are Lions fans won't hold the Redskins thing against you too long. So on behalf of Michigan National Speedway, all of our fans, we just want to say thank you for all you've done for our sport, for all you've done here in Michigan, and wish you the best of luck. We do believe you're not leaving, you're just changing your role, so we look forward to seeing you back. We were trying to think of something that would be meaningful of Michigan and maybe meaningful to you too. Brad did a little research, found out that this was the only track that you, your father, and your brother all ran in the Cup, and we found this picture to commemorate it, and we'd like to give it to you. So thank you.